All right, everybody, welcome back. Good afternoon. We've got more to talk about with Rylie Mills. If you missed this morning's video, go check it out. I go through Rylie Mills by the numbers. I go over his stats. I go over the PFF metrics. I basically talk about all the hard, objective data that we have. And you learn a lot, but you don't learn everything. And in this video, we're going to try to learn more. We're going to uncover things beyond just Rylie Mills by the numbers. We're going to take a look at Rylie Mills by the traits, positive and negative. If you've been watching this channel for the last couple of weeks, you know the drill. We're going to go through his pros, things that I see in his game that I think are good. And then we're going to go through the cons, the things in his game that I think either need work or are just not very good. Because we have to understand, in some cases, there are things that cannot be fixed. There are things that would compromise some of the good things if you tried to eliminate the bad things, as weird as that sounds. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump right in here with the pros. First, please like this video. Click the thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Click the bell for notifications. Become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to help support the channel. All right, so Rylie Mills, first pro, hard worker. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but there is something to be said for how often he makes a play or generates a pressure or does something good for the defense on second or third effort. There's something to be said there. He does a lot of stuff where you'd think the play is basically done for him, but he fights his way back into the picture. So he's going to need that trait in the pros because there are some athletic shortcomings here, but he makes up for it by trying hard. He's got strength to shed through blockers with power. He's got upper body strength to just shove blockers out of the way. He's got the strength to keep blockers at an arm's length so he can get to the ball carrier and actually make a play on him. So he's a powerful player. He plays with a good amount of power, especially for a smaller guy. He's got powerful hands. He's able to use his hands to just kind of stun blockers back after engaging so he can make a play on the ball carrier. Very good at just shedding at the right opportune moment to go make a play on the ball. He's got the skill set to run twists and stunts. You see a good amount of twisting and stunting on his tape. He converts build-up speed to power pretty well. There is some potential with him in that regard. Typically, I saw him running twists and stunts with players who were a little bit more the focal point of the play than he was. But he can do that stuff. He can move around on the play. Heavy collegiate experience should make him pro-ready once healthy. He played over 60 games, played 1,900 snaps, most of them in B-gap, where he'll probably mostly play in the pros. So once he actually gets healthy, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes here, he should be ready to just go. He should be ready to play. So once you get him on the field, I feel pretty good about his chances to make an impact. Made big strides in converting his pressures into sacks in 2024. He had basically the same number of quarterback pressures in 2023 and 2024, but his sacks tripled. That tells you that he's doing a better job closing, probably doing a better job balancing his rush so he isn't overrunning the play. He's doing a better job not allowing the quarterback to squirt away from him. I talked about this with Byron Murphy last year. Coffee is for closers. He's become more of a closer. And that's going to increase his value dramatically. Pressures are great, but there's a reason why Jadeveon Clowney never got paid the big bucks in this league. He never got paid the big bucks because as good as he wasn't a closer. He does have some advanced tricks he can do, like an arm over or a swim move to aid in block shedding. You do see occasional moments of him whipping out a genuine counter. You do see some moments of him being able to actually skillfully detach from a block shed and either work to the quarterback or the ball carrier. He has a pretty effective bull rush. When he gets low, he can collapse the pocket and set up plays for other players. So there is some bull-like power here. He can kind of push people over. He can push them back. I definitely saw some plays on the tape of him collapsing the pocket. Unofficially, and I do want to stress this is unofficially, his 40 time has been estimated to be about 4.79. That would have been number one of all defensive tackles in this draft. That would have been better than Ty Robinson, the Nebraska guy, by about 0.04 seconds. So if that is true, that makes him very athletically inclined compared to other defensive tackles in this league, at least in a straight line. And that may not be the most valuable thing in the world for a defensive tackle, but it does highlight some ability on his part. He's stout when attempting to maintain gap integrity if he can get leverage. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes, but if he can get leverage, he can anchor down and be hard to move. So there are moments where he's holding up against the run, holding his gap, not allowing himself to get pushed around. It does show up sometimes. I think he does a really good job of overcoming his below average arm length to get away from blockers. And he does a really good job finding the ball on these plays that you watch. Really looks like he has a good understanding of how to use power and use his hands to shrug away at the right moment so he can go get the ball carrier. And again, he doesn't have the longest arms. They're okay. So that kind of stuff is good to see. He's a very smart player. He adjusts to blocking schemes fast, and he reads plays accurately. I think this is a high IQ player, a high football IQ player, who is going to be able to work through eye candy and misdirection and figure out where the play is actually going. And while this isn't going to be massive value to McDonald, it is going to be value somewhat. I think that he will be a really good 3-4 defensive end. So when you are in base as a defense, that will contain value. Some people think his best value is as a 3-4 defensive end. So that'll be kind of nice to have when we need to go to that look. All right, now we got to get to some of the concerns with Mr. Mills, and there are certainly some. He often loses leverage. He plays straight up. His rush is often straight up. He seems like he gets tired and loses leverage a lot. He starts just kind of playing straight up, no knee bend, no bending at the waist, and that will make him lose anchor. That will get him pushed around. That will get him out of his gap. So the one thing that you can do is rotate him and not play him for every single snap of a game. But even beyond that, there is some stuff to work on there. He transitioned from a more edge-based role earlier in his career because he doesn't have twitch. He does not have the explosive moving skills to really stun players with athleticism. So if you're going to ask him to provide that kind of explosive burst past a blocker, it's probably not happening. The injury, we got to talk about the injury. ACL tear, missed most of the playoff run that Notre Dame had because of the injury. The injury will probably linger into his rookie season. I don't expect to see him until later in this season. And honestly, because he will have missed training camp and OTAs, there's a very good chance that he doesn't really do anything as a rookie because he's not ready. And earlier I said one of the great things about Rylie Mills is that he should be ready to go out of the box, but he may not be if he doesn't get a chance to amp up for the NFL. And there could be long-term negative effects on his athletic ability from the ACL tear. He would certainly not be the first player to permanently lose some degree of athletic ability after tearing an ACL. Doesn't have a lot of burst at the snap into contact. Doesn't really do a great job rocketing into the offensive line. So he tends to kind of move a little bit slowly. He's rarely the first guy into contact. He's rarely the first guy to really start to penetrate to the quarterback. It's just kind of an average burst. He's got a limited rush plan. There is a swim move. There is an arm over. There are some counters that he can whip out. But for the most part, he just reacts rather than having like this true set of moves that can just overcome and overwhelm blockers. He's very dependent on his strength and a couple of moves. So he's going to beat blockers in a relatively specific way. And I would also say you're not going to have a lot of luck with him against double teams. So he gets driven back by double teams, which is fair. He's undersized. You wouldn't expect a 291 pound lineman to be able to hold up against double teams. So fair enough. And that will do it for the pros and cons list. So next up, we're doing tape stuff. That'll come later today. Should be sometime around 3 or 4. Keep an eye out for that. I will see you guys soon. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have a different perception. Let me know if there's anything you think I missed here. Again, I think this is a pretty straightforward player. It's pretty clear what he's good at, pretty clear what he's not so good at. So find his role, let him play in that role, let him stay in that role, and I think you're going to get some good stuff. All right, so tape study a little bit later. Go Hawks. See you guys soon.